So when my husband first was like, we're gonna move to South Africa, I was like, fine, let's go, let's do it. To know me is to know I will go. Say less. I thought I'm not gonna drive while we're in South Africa because I don't want to anymore. But he had other ideas that I would keep driving. So I use my GPS to get to where I'm going, right? I can pretty much get there as long as I'm like taking the one road. Like if there's a detour, it becomes a problem because we also decided to maintain our cell phone service that we use here in the States. So sometimes my phone just stops working. So I literally get lost if I have to make one other turn. And even though I literally could be like one street, maybe two streets away from the destination I'm trying to get to, I can be wandering driving for at least an hour because I don't know where I am. As I was driving, lost one day, wandering, trying to find things that would help me get back on track. Like, God was just like, this is kind of how it is sometimes when He's given you a promise and you have in your mind a very specific way that you're gonna get from where you are today to what He said. You're like, I'm going to go this way. It'll happen. This will happen by this age. And then I'll do this and then I'll do that. Yeah. And as soon as something comes up that's like a detour, like, oh, the relationship you thought was going to lead to marriage didn't quite work out, or you were married and then you got divorced, or you got released from your job, or whatever the thing is, when there's that shift, you're like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Like, how am I supposed to get to the destination now? And even though you could literally be so close, you feel so lost. And then when you're not staying in touch with God, who is literally like your GPS, you're like wandering. And you can literally end up wandering for years. If you don't, until you make that reconnection. And then sometimes we're looking for things that look familiar. And sometimes the familiar things are actually the things that are not what's gonna lead us to where God is trying to take us. So we have to be mindful of that too. And I was just like, God, like, this is so true. Like, this is literally like life. I feel this in my core. And so the title of today's message is Why We Wander.